You just never know what the Las Vegas Raiders are going to do on draft day. I'm Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Reporting. Coming up on today's show, I'm going to be breaking down the top 5 players that I think would surprise the nation if the Raiders ended up taking these players at 6 overall. There's a small chance that it could happen, but the reason why I wanted to be able to do this show is because last year I talked about the possibility of the Raiders taking Brock Bowers, which was a great pick by the Silver and Black. But let's not get it twisted. It was definitely a surprise. So since I was able to predict the Brock Bowers pick last season, I've had a few people ask me just over the past few weeks, hey, Mitch, are we going to also do another style like this in the year 2025? The bottom line, and I mean this for everybody that watches the show, if you're looking for Raiders draft content, we're the channel for you. So it's going to be going from 5. We're going to work our way down to 1. Number 1 would be a player that could potentially be the pick, and it would be the biggest surprise to me. We're going to start this one off, though, with a doozy, and I think it might shock some people that I'm putting Shedeur Sanders, quarterback from Colorado, on this list, and I'm putting him on here because I'm telling you, based on a lot of the rumors, based on a lot of the reports, based on what happened around Geno, I would be shocked if the Raiders ended up taking Sanders at number 6 overall. Because when you go out and you trade for Geno, this is a team that wants to win right now, and they know that they need to go out there and have the ability to win right now. So you using a number 6 pick on a player that's going to sit behind that quarterback for multiple years doesn't really make a lot of sense in that. I know that Sanders is very accurate, and I know that he has shown the ability to get better and better. He is a very mentally tough quarterback. Not gonna lie, a lot of character concerns based on what we've heard from Pro Day, NFL Combine, a lot of that type of stuff. I am really excited to see what Shedeur is going to look like on his Pro Day, April 4th, but Shedeur needs to start getting it going if he wants to go in the top 10. The reason why I could sit up here and say why I could see it happening, he is the number 2 quarterback behind Cam Ward. There's some people actually that do probably think that Jackson Dart might be better. I've actually talked to a few NFL guys that think Tyler Shook is better than Shedeur Sanders, but Tom Brady has been his mentor since 2020. And for anybody that has watched this show for the past 4 or 5 months, you'll know all of the Sanders connections with this Raiders organization. On top of that, Dion has said in the past, and he's also liked multiple of my own videos on social media at Mitchell Renz 365, that he wants the Raiders to draft Shedeur. Sanders is literally in Las Vegas all the time. Shedeur and Geno were hanging out literally just a few weeks ago down in Miami. Shedeur would surprise me, and I know that that might be a shock to some of the people that watch this show. Let's go to number 4 here for my Raiders surprise picks at number 6. I'm going to go offensive lineman from Ohio State, Josh Simmons. And I love this kid's tape, because I think he's got rare foot quickness, which is one of the reasons why he is an elite pass blocker. He could be a little bit better in the run game. I'm not going to lie to you. I wish he had the amount of confidence when he pass protects the same way that he would maybe in the running game. I love his effort, though, on all sides of the field. Also because of that quick footwork, he can get on the flat. He can get out there, and he can block. And the Raiders, they're going to try to do a lot of wide receiver screens. It's what Chip Kelly likes to do. He could struggle against some powerful NFL linemen that really try to bull rush him, but if you're trying to beat him on the edge with quickness, Josh Simmons with that step, he's elite. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The injury does scare me a little bit, but the reason why I think that he could be the pick at number 6, there are some NFL scouts out there before the horrific knee injury that he sustained early in the college football season. There were a lot of people that thought he was the best offensive tackle, better than Will Campbell, better than Armin Membu in college football. He was also with the Raiders OC, Chip Kelly, last year. Obviously, Kelly was calling plays for the Buckeyes. He also has a lot of that versatility. He played right tackle in 2022 at San Diego State. The past 2 seasons, 19 starts overall with the Buckeyes. So, you know that he can play both, but I'll be real. If the Raiders end up doing this, I think that they would kick Josh Simmons over to the left side, and maybe they would try to convince Colton Miller, who's got $0 million guaranteed on his contract, to go over to the right side. I like DJ Glaze. But if you're able to improve on the offensive line, which is what John Spytek, Pete Carroll, and I think a lot of people that like to build the trenches believe, it's not that I don't like Glaze. It's I'm trying to improve at every single position this offseason, and Simmons would be an improvement over DJ Glaze. So here's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Who could the Raiders pick at number 6? That would surprise you. And I want this to be a realistic answer, not somebody that's going to go on day 4, round 4, round 3, round 2. It's, somebody that's going to go in round 1 that you don't really think is going to be on the Raiders' radar, a lot like a Brock Bowers. honestly a lot like a Tyree Wilson in 2023. I just don't want to get into the Alex Leatherwoods, Damon Arnett's, and so on and so forth. So this will be the pinned comment. Let me know down below a surprise pick for the Raiders at number 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you 3 picks that I would like the Raiders to go out and pick at 6. And everybody that you're going to see on the show, it's not that I wouldn't want the Raiders to pick them at 6. It would just be entirely too high for me. Though these 3 names might shock some people around the nation, but I do think that there is a chance that this happens, and I would be ecstatic if the Raiders were able to get an Armin Membu or Will Campbell at 6. To me, if you're trying to build the trenches, those are 2 guys you got to look at. I would be less excited, and I do think it is a little bit of a reach for Jahdae Barron at 6. I kind of like Barron a little bit more in the 12 to 15, 12 and after range. But his versatility, that guy is a Swiss Army knife, and the way that Patrick Graham's defense is built on the back of what Pete Carroll also thinks, plus on top of the way that John Spytek builds his teams, I think Jahdae Barron is a sneaky player that the Raiders could potentially take at number 6. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, we're going to get into some more surprise candidates for this regime at number 6 in the 2025 NFL Draft. Before I get into those picks and the ones that are really going to be eye-opening, I got something pretty eye-opening for you. Our sponsor, Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks is the best place to win real money this basketball season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds to turn your sports opinions into real money all season long. I know the Raiders don't play at any time soon, but one of the things that I do love with PrizePicks, because when you follow the silver and black, especially for a lot of the OGs that are watching a lot of the real ones, you're watching Raiders content in the month of March, in the month of April, month of May. Like, you're going to be able to take advantage of some of these Prize Picks more or less. Is because I look at Geno Smith at 3,475 yards. I'm going, that's an easy more. And if Geno, God forbid, were to get hurt, you would be able to get your money back. That's one of the things that I like about Prize Picks. Brock Bowers receiving touchdowns, 5.5. Give me the more on that one as well. Now, right now, all you can do for season long is Geno Smith passing and passing yards, like touchdowns and yards. For Brock, it's receiving touchdowns and receiving yards. This is not a lineup that you'd be able to do because you do have to pick 2 different people from like different teams, and you can't pick the same player twice. But I just at least wanted to be able to show the audience, if you're looking at any of that and you're like, dude, yeah, Geno Smith, those passing yards, easy money in your pocket. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Let's go to number 3 here for my Raiders surprise picks at number 6. Safety from Georgia, Malachi Starks. I like what Starks brings to the table, but like for you to take a safety at number 6 overall, really early for me personally. And the way that I kind of look at safety sometimes is the way that I think sometimes people look at the running back or linebacker market, where you got to be such a difference maker, like an Ashton Genty level of a prospect, to be a safety that goes that high. But this guy is a true do-it-all safety. You can line him up in the box. You can drop him back. I will admit, some of the things that I do get a little bit concerned about with him is when you have Isaiah Paul-Mal, Jeremy Chin, those guys are going to be up near the box. Malachi Starks, when his tape is bad, it's when he bites on a play fake and somebody beats him over the top. And maybe that's just from playing in the SEC. Maybe that's just overconfidence being a Georgia Bulldog. But the reason why I think that this pick could happen is he had a top 30 visit, or is going to have a top 30 visit with Las Vegas. The biggest need right now for Las Vegas on that defense is a free safety position. And this football team loves guys with a high football IQ, loves guys that go out there and do all the right things on and off the field. And well, the Brock Bowers pick worked pretty damn well. So at number 3, I got Malachi Starks out of Georgia. This is where it's going to get interesting. Let's go to number 2 here. It's going to be Ohio State wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka. And I say that because we know Las Vegas has been looking at adding a wide receiver this offseason. And one of the things that I know Geno Smith did really well with last year, especially in like third down and really important situations, he looked for Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm going to be honest. Like, when I watch Emeka Egbuka play, it reminds me of just like Jackson Smith, right? It's the exact same type of player. Fluid, can run a complete route tree, really good at being able to track down a deep ball. He doesn't have elite speed Not going to beat somebody in a 40-yard dash, but it's definitely a faster player on the field and just does so many other things really well. Like, for Raider fans out there that like Jakobi Meyers and love what he brings to the table, what if I could get you a younger version of a Jakobi Meyers? Maybe not as, physical, but somebody that's going to go out there, do his flipping job, not complain about it, and do a lot of things really, really flipping well. The reason why I think that this could be the pick at number 6 is because the Raiders are looking for a wide receiver 1. This would be early to take him at 6, but there are some people that have fallen out of love with Teteroa McMillan. There's another receiver by the name of Matthew Golden that I've heard from few people also around the NFL Combine that they thought he was the number 1. But because Chip Kelly worked with him last season and because the Raiders met with him at the Combine, that is a big reason to me of why I could see the Raiders potentially doing this. I personally, if you told me right now it's draft night and the Las Vegas Raiders walk up to that podium and the name called is Emeka Egbuka, I don't think it's going to be at pick number 6. I would say it would be the Raiders trading back into the round 1 right before there's going to be a run on wide receivers, which I think is going to happen somewhere around that 19 to 20 range. It's going to go. That would make a little bit more sense, but if Emeka Egbuka is the number 1 receiver on the Raiders' big board because of his connection to Chip Kelly, and we've seen how important relationships and connections are to this organization, this regime, maybe they have him at number 1 over Tet. It would surprise me, and I think that's why I had to put him here on this show. Before I get into the player that the Raiders could take at number 6, that would shock the nation the most of all, I hope that you guys decide to pull up and tune in with Jeremy Chuggs and I. We're going to be live for the entire NFL draft. If you're looking for draft content, we're the channel for you. And I also wanted to show you, last year when we went live, Day 1, we had 114,000 people pull up with us. We went live for 6 hours and 9 minutes. Day 2, 83,000 people decided to pull up. 6 hours, 23 minutes. Day 3, 86,000 people decided to pull up. We were live for 8 hours and 15 minutes. If you're going to be sitting around watching the NFL draft and you want to get the picks before you see them on TV, you come hang out with us for 20-plus hours during the NFL draft. That's what a real one would do. Hope to see you there. Let's go to number 1, the most surprising pick at number 6. It is Tyler Warren, tight end for Penn State. If you watch this show and you're going, Mitch, there's no way the Raiders are taking a tight end. I think a lot of people said that exact same thing last year when they ended up going with Brock Bowers. And because it worked out so damn well, what if they decided to do it again? Because Warren is big. Dude is athletic. And I watch Penn State football a lot. Tough, competitive, elite prospect. Like when we talk about elite prospects in this year's draft, I literally think that he is in that upper echelon of legit elite prospect. And one of my favorite parts about his game, dude's got swagger. You know when Max Crosby walks out in the field, he knows he's the baddest mother effer out there? That's Tyler Warren in every single game that he played in last season. The other thing that I love about him, he does what you ask him to do. There were games where Penn State was like, hey, I need you to go out there and try to get 100 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Hey, I need you to be able to run the football. They'll pick us up first downs. Hey, I need you to be able to go out there and block. And he ran the Wildcat. Yeah, like when Chuggs and I were watching him in the CFB playoff, like he literally did whatever you asked him to do, and the reason why Penn State told him to do that is because he was the best player out there on the field. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of the way that Georgia used Brock Bowers, where they're like, they line him up in the slot, they line him out wide, they put him at tight end, put him at fullback, because when you're just that good, good coaches are like, I got to get the ball in this kid's hands. And that's why I could see maybe it happening at 6. It would be crazy. But if the Raiders do want to go best player available, there are people that I know for a fact that have Tyler Warren ranked in that category, near an Ashton Genty, near some of these other guys. And if you know that the running back market is very deep, maybe the Raiders want to get a Trevion Henderson, you passed on Genty, you go out and get Warren. But Bowers and Warren would be the best tight end duo in the National Football League. This regime did not draft Michael Mayer, and I always think that sometimes somebody's got to do something a little bit crazy, and then the NFL starts to catch on to it over and over with the contracts that are happening. And some of these contracts are getting really, really high around wide receivers. What if NFL teams start trying to find a Brock Bowers, put him out at wide receiver? Then you have Tyler Warren and Michael Mayer to be a potential tight end. It saves you money in the long haul. But if you are trying to go best player available, Tyler Warren would be a shock. It would be interesting, though, no doubt about it. If anybody wants to check out my top players that I think that the Raiders could actually target at pick number 6, this video is going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show.